Yo, it's the Talk with B podcast, posting every Tuesday where we talk about anything and everything, hosted by Branden-Lee, aka BL33. Come on and tune in with us on all social media platforms so we can go ahead and have a talk. Hey guys, it's B-Lee here. And in the last podcast, we talked about what makes you successful, right? So I talked about a bunch of people, Steve Jobs and different other people who were, what took them to be successful. But today, I want to talk about what steps you have to do to get yourself to that successful point, right? So I got 8 steps that I want to share with everyone that helps push me to try to become successful. So the first step I want to talk about is you got to believe in yourself, right? So that's like the number one step. Like, you're not going to get anywhere unless you believe in yourself. So it all starts right mentally. You have to have a positive mindset, okay? Like, you just can't walk around moping around thinking that things are going to come to you. You have to stay positive. Have that mindset. For me personally, I like waking up in the morning. I do a meditation, I stretch, and regardless of that negativity that happens, I'm shaking it off. I don't touch my phone for the first hour in the morning. I'll put on a podcast of someone that I like that motivates me. Personally, that's DJ Khaled, and I'll go to his Snapchat, and I'm like, yo, that guy motivates me, so he puts me in a positive mood. So that gets my day going, and you just gotta keep that mindset that you're going to continue to believe in yourself, whatever may happen. So being in business too, there's a time where I started to not believe in myself. I was a cash flowing business, and it came to the point where things started to get really tight. So when you're cash flowing, because I couldn't get any credit, but when you're a cash flowing business, you have to pay employees. So at one point in time, I had almost about 15 different employees, and those employees needed to get paid. So what I did to go ahead and get them paid was I started donating plasma, so just to pay my employees. I didn't say, you know what, you guys gotta wait until I get scratch some money together or stuff like that. I whipped myself into action before those funds got low, and I believed in myself that I wanted to grow my business to where it was last year. So you gotta believe in yourself, right? Keep that positive mindset, and that's one of the things that I did to go ahead and continue to do and grow within my business and in the business world. Now, number 2 is you got to commit, right? No matter where you are, no matter how you're doing, you got to commit. That's that main thing. Once you start something, you got to finish that thing. You got to power through. You just can't stop where you're at, okay? You already started it, so finish it. When I was growing up, I used to play sports as a kid, and halfway through or in the beginning of the first 2 weeks, I said, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. And, my parents and my grandparents, they told me, you need to finish. You need to finish what you started, and you're going to wait until the season is over. And I still use that till today. So sometimes I don't want to go work out in the gym. All right. I don't want to, pay my bills or go to work, but I got to commit to go ahead and get that stuff done. So that's what I constantly kept trying to do. And I just constantly commit. And it doesn't matter, how hard it is. You gotta just keep going, right? Like the Energizer Bunny. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be hiccups. Like I said, my hiccup in my business was not being able to pay my employees because I didn't have credit to go ahead and get business credit to pay them to get that capital. So you just gotta commit and go through it. Now my third one, and this is one thing that I struggle with all the time, is patience. They say that good things come to those who wait. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is something that I am not good at all, is patience. One thing, growing up being a sportsman, I was raised around my grandparents. My grandpa, he always took me go fishing. Now, to me, when I was younger, we used to go out. Sometimes we wouldn't even catch anything. But he said, just leave your rod in the water. Make sure you got it up. Just let it sit. And now that I know, he was old school, but me, I do a lot of research and I look stuff up. And the time of day we were going fishing, we weren't catching anything because it was too hot outside. It was the middle of the summertime. the fish are at the bottom, or they're not hungry because it's too hot, so they don't want to eat because it's not the time for them to eat. He didn't know that, but I enjoyed that experience. And maybe he actually did. Maybe he was actually teaching me to be patient. And that I didn't see that craft that he was teaching me with being inside that part, being patient. I was also in business for 8 years here, actually 10 years now. And there's a point where I wanted to stop, right? And if I continued to be patient, I didn't rush things in the beginning, I feel as though it would still constantly continue to run smooth as it is, right? And if I never would have stopped and I never would have donated that plasma to pay my employees, it would have been the end, right? It wouldn't have been able to take off to where it is at today. I have a lot of news articles and interviews, and I've been networking with a lot of different people that I didn't know that I'm actually truly motivating them from my background and my story. So you just got to be patient. They say, I think it's normally from 3 to 5 years. If you pass that mark in business, your business is going to continue to take off. So once you pass that mark, you're going to be able to take off, and it's going to be able to do well for you. So as long as you keep on going, there's nothing that can stop you. You got to be patient and just hold on tight. And even though things may be getting rough or it gets hard, whether this just isn't about business, it's about life. Even life, if you're, studying to get a degree, or you want to get your master's or your doctorates, it's okay to take a break, right? It's okay to relax. Like, I just like to make a mental reset, take a vacation for like a week or two, or go out of town just to try to relax so that you can get back in the game and keep on going. Whatever you're doing, business, sports, even your job or work, sometimes you got to take that break, and that's okay. So another thing for me is perseverance. You got to take action. You got to keep going, keep trying, and you got to reward yourself. This goes back into taking that vacation. I like to set myself up, and I write goals, right? I got my long-term goals, and I got my to-do list that I'm going to do every single day, right? I'll make a new list. Even throughout the day, I'll add on to my list. And that's my punch list. That's my to-do list. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to get done. And I'm going to check that thing down left by left, right? So that's one of those things that I personally do, is I like to just keep on going. I don't try to hesitate, and I make that list, man. That's what it's mainly all about. And setting yourself up with a routine, I think that's really great too. That also helps me to get to that success point. So I wake up with the same routine. I wake up, brush my teeth, wash my face. I do a stretch. I do a nice meditation or yoga, and I don't touch my phone for the first hour. That's the thing. That's the worst thing you can do, is get up in the morning, scroll through social media, emails, any of that stuff. First hour, it's just all me waking up, stretching, and getting my day started and having that routine. And once you get out of those bad habits that you have, I think that also is going to set yourself up for, that success point. Having that action and hitting stuff straight forward. Now, number five is consistent action. How to stay consistent, just like, I want to say like a riding a bike. So when you first riding a bike, as long as you keep those pedals rolling, okay, that bike's going to continue to go forward. So as long as you keep rolling, keep moving, you're going to keep on going forward. Now for me, that was like when I was running or playing football, younger, get tired. Or me at the gym now, I get tired, right? I run 3 miles a day. If I don't feel like doing that, I'll do 1 mile minimum, and I definitely get tired. I have kids, I have work, I have a weird, odd schedule sometimes with my job, so I fit that in, and I have that consistent action. Whether if I don't feel like doing it, if I don't feel like running that day, I'm just going to do some push-ups or maybe do some sit-ups. I can't go without having that consistent action. And this goes into just picking up the phone. If you're a business person and, you're like, man, why is my phone? you gotta pick up the phone. Like someone calls, you gotta pick up. This happens to me all the time. When I'm trying to do like little auditing things around my house, try to find someone to mow my lawn because I can't get to it, or trying to do like some construction inside the home. I called numerous contractors before. They didn't answer the phone. Even when I came to hiring employees at one time, I would call them. I'm reaching out to them to get a job, right? I'm like, dude, what is going on? Why am I reaching out to you to get a job? Like, you gotta be consistent. You gotta constantly keep on going and try to find little ways to improve yourself throughout that day. And use your brain, you know? It's just simply just thinking sometimes. For me, I still clean and stuff on the side for some people that I might have still. And I'll clean and I'll like have a brain fart. Like I'll stop like, oh man, where'd I put the trash can? Or, oh, did I clean that toilet? But as long as I keep moving, it'll all come back to me and it'll make things better. Now also is number 6, continuous improvement. Every day, I try to approach it with a fresh mind. I'm a very open-minded person. I love anyone and anything, and anyone that talks to me. Even if I think I know the information, I don't stop anyone from telling me it because they can tell me something that I don't know. I know I'm not the best cleaner in the world. I know I'm not the smartest person in the world. I know that I don't know everything, and that's okay. Even if you don't know everything, that's okay. Sometimes you just got to sit back and listen. Even if you know it, it's fine. Just sit back and listen. Someone can tell you something totally new that you never even heard of, never even thought about, or maybe you did, and they're giving you more information. I like to say staying green, right? So like as long as your flowers and things, or if you're me personally, I had a garden. I like growing flowers in my garden. I also like vegetables, fruits, and veggies, right? And as long as my garden was always green, and I nurtured it, it was going to continue to grow. So what I'm saying is keep yourself green. Be willing to grow with that knowledge that people are giving you. Whether you know it all the time or you don't, you just got to make sure you keep an open mind and learn from your mistakes. If you constantly keep doing the same or making the same mistake, it's not the same mistake anymore. Doing something repeatedly time and time again, thinking you're going to get a different result, that's actually called insanity. Einstein said that first. He said it the best, and that's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's one of those things that you got to try to break out of that habit, which is very, very hard. Me, I constantly lived in a rat race, and as soon as I would get my paycheck, I would just go buy a bunch of stuff or go to a concert or just buy things that I didn't need. And then by the end of the week, because I got paid every week, I would say, yo, what the heck? Where's all my money? Like, what am I doing? I kept saying, yo, what is going on? But I had to sit back and think, like, I had to change my habits. It wasn't anybody else, but it was just me. So that's one of those ways that I improved also. Another way was when I was training people to clean, I always assumed that someone knew how to clean, and I found out that that wasn't true. So the way I improved on myself is I started treating people, even though I asked them, say, do you know how to clean? I said, yeah, did you clean for anybody else? Yeah, I did. I would train them the way I wanted to be done, right? I would act as though they never even knew about it. And some people were upset about it. They get upset, and I could tell by their body language. And some people took it in. And I know the people that took it in, even though they knew it, I knew that they were an award-winning person and they can last a long time, and the gates are open for them. At the end of the day, too, it's always good to like ask yourself, you know, what you learned, right? Like me, I read The 50th Law of Power with Robert Greene and 50 Cent. They talk about in that book, constantly ask yourself, you know, who you met during the day, how you met them, how they came in your life, why they came in your life, or in your path, I like to say, in your path? And do they deserve to be in your path? And what have you learned from that person or throughout that day? I use that to track the growth, right? So that's how you grow. You constantly ask, how did I meet this person? How did I talk to this person? And sometimes at the end of the day, because it's just me or my kids are asleep, I'll just talk to myself and I'll be like, hey, did I meet this person? How did I meet them? Why did I meet them? Why did they come into my life and in my path? Can I evolve with this person? Involve mean grow, right? Another way is if you don't talk to anybody, you don't meet to anyone, is Facebook. I use Facebook as a tool. It's good to show off for people you like or your family and friends if that's what you like. Me personally, I don't like showing off to people that I don't like. Not saying the people on my Facebook I don't like, but they aren't my true friends. They are the people that are on Facebook. My true friends is someone that I can call in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning. I'm on the side of the road. I ran out of gas or I had a flat tire. Can you come pick me up or can you help me? Okay. Now that's a true friend to me. Like I say, I'm using Facebook as a tool for personal growth, right? I use it as a timeline. So when I'm posting constantly, I'll even post stuff private for myself, right? And then I'll look back at the end of the year, like sometimes on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever music you listen to, YouTube Music, they'll give you that year, like what'd you listen to, right? And everyone wants to share what they've been listening to, what song has the most, what song has the least, what genre you're listening to. Well, that's what I use Facebook for. I go back in my last year and I'm like, oh, wow, I did this, I did that. Did I improve on myself, right? Because it's all about self-improvement, being that flower inside of your garden, right? And continue to nurture yourself with any type of knowledge or energy that you might want to put into yourself, right? So you can continue to grow. So make sure you keep track of that personal growth for yourself. And that will definitely show you that constant improvement that you have, right? Now, of course, number 7, self-forgiveness. You can't be too hard on yourself. That's why I talk about taking those breaks, right? Taking a short vacation. It doesn't have to be out of the country or out in another state. It could be somewhere simply of doing something that you've never done before. Here, I live in central Pennsylvania in the city. So I'll travel out to go like hiking or something that, like I like to say, city people don't do. Go for a hike or go for a walk. Travel just outside of your city limit area or out, if you're in the country, go into the city. Go somewhere you haven't gone before and change your local scenery. It doesn't have to be a big trip. It doesn't have to be a part to another state. It can be simply just walking down a different street that you've never been on, okay, in your own neighborhood, right? And just taking your time, put your phone away, and just enjoy the elements, right? Break away and then forgive yourself and give yourself a break. Sometimes we get too wrapped up, I believe, in like social media on our phones or just in business or work or in school. And sometimes you just gotta take a break, and it's okay to forgive yourself to go ahead and take that break. All right. You don't want to put yourself down because that's blocking that positive energy that you want to come in. Things that happened in the past, let it stay in the past. Like me personally, if something bad happened with an acquaintance of mine and we talked about it, we got over it, and they bring it up like an hour later, I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear that. Let that go. I'm done with it. We talked about it. It's done. Let's squash the beef. Let's continue to move on. All right. We got stuff to do, and let's put on that positive energy. Just move on and pretty much just get over it. Right. That self-forgiveness within yourself, whatever it is. People make mistakes every day. Some people won't even see your mistakes. And if they do, who cares? It's just a mistake. That's why it's called a mistake. And of course, you got to learn from that, right? Don't repeat that same mistake. And then my last one is number 8, all right? Lucky number 8 here is gratitude. Don't forget to thank yourself. Even at the end of the day, if you made that checklist and you got something checked off that checklist, whether it's 1 thing, 3 things, 4 things, thank yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back because you did it. And if you don't think somebody's thinking, or if you don't feel like you're thanking yourself or giving yourself that gratitude, I got your back. I'm thanking you for doing that checklist and hitting your goal for that day. Now, like I said, it could be a long term or short term, right? Thank yourself. One thing I do to thank myself every day, or when I do something, I'll get me like a piece of candy because I like to work out, or I'll get a soda or something. Man, I got to thank myself for completing the task that I got done on that checklist. Another thing I like to do is I like to get my flowers. I got to get myself flowers every week from the store. And people were like, what are you doing? They're like, why are you here? Who are you buying flowers for? Are you buying them for your lady or your girlfriend? I said, no, unfortunately, no. I'm a single guy, but I like some flowers. I like to have them sitting right next to me. They're alive. They're great. They're live. They're great. And I like me some flowers. So I keep them next to me, and that's my gratitude to myself, gratitude to the world, gratitude to Mother Nature for waking me up every single morning, getting out, and being able to breathe the fresh air. I also like to consider, I woke up this morning, you woke up this morning, you're listening to this podcast. Somebody else did not wake up this morning. Okay. So I don't like to take life for granted. I like to live it to the fullest, the best of the ability that I possibly can. And just give yourself gratitude for pretty much just waking up, right? Because that's one of the hardest things to do. You also can't go around thinking that the world owes you something. You could be the biggest person in the world or the smallest person here in the world, and you can't walk around thinking that someone or the world owes you something. This goes back in our last podcast when people, they want to have that beautiful body, but they don't want to put the work in to have it, right? People want to have, well, not everyone, but a lot of people want to have, a lot of money. So they don't want to put the work in to have it. A lot of people that win the lottery and stuff, those millionaires, they go broke in like 4 or 5 years because they didn't work for the money, right? You gotta thank yourself, all right? And you can't think that the world owes you something, okay? The world doesn't owe you anything at all. You're the same as everyone else, but you gotta put that work in, keep that positive mindset, and continue to just keep on going. All right. So thank you guys for listening with me today here. We're going to have some guests here coming up here in the next podcast. So you're not going to listen to me babble on by myself the entire time. I think this is the longest podcast I've done so far. Normally they've been under like 10, 15 minutes. But I want to go ahead and rewrap this up here. Those 8 things, right? Those 8 things that I believe is going to make you successful, make you to be the best person that you can be, and that you can grow in the garden, right? Continue to stay green. Well, that is 1, believe in yourself. 2, commitment. 3, patience. 4, perseverance. 5, consistent action. 6, consistent improvement. 7, forgiveness. And 8, gratitude. All right. Those are those 8 things that I believe is going to make you successful, whether it's in life, whether it's in business, whether it's in sports, whether it's in school. Those things are going to make you successful. So thank you for tuning in with me this week, guys, and I will talk to you very soon. Feel free to shoot us an email if you want to go ahead and you want to be aired in on the podcast. I'll be posting the email link in below here in the description so that you guys can have that. And if you got a pen and piece of paper, you can go ahead and drop the email down here. That email for you is you want to go ahead and email us in, tell us your story, or, you want to be on the podcast. It is B like boy, Lee, Lee, art 33 at gmail.com. All right, it's B Lee, guys, and I am done wrapping it up. You guys have a great rest of your day and continue to do what you do best and be great and stay green. Yo, it's the Talk with B podcast, posting every Tuesday where we talk about anything and everything, hosted by Branden-Lee, aka BL33. Come on and tune in with us on all social media platforms so we can go ahead and have a talk.